we need to recognize, and we finally come to, we need to recognize that we are all creations of God, creations of the Father. And we need to recognize that He has always been there for us. He has always been there, and that we are children of God. Don't let the devil describe who you are. Don't let him do it. Because God has already described who you are. We just read it in Genesis 1:26. We are all His creations. We are all His. Don't let the devil get into your head and tell you who you are. Don't let him describe you. So when that thought came into the son's head, that he had his father, and that his father was a loving, caring man. Not only did he provide for himself, for his family, for his brothers, he also provided in excess for his servants. It says there that his servants even had extra bread to give. Right? The father treated people wonderful. So now, when he finally came to himself, the description in his head about the Father had changed. First, we understood that the description of the Father was that he was too restrictive, that he impinged on the Son's liberty. But now the description, after he finally was in the lowest point in his life, he finally realized that his Father was good, that he was loving. And now he desires to be back with the Father. So you see how that description has changed? That description of what the devil, what Satan described his Father as, and then now it changes. And our description of how we see God changes over time. My description of what I thought God was different than what I know God to be now. It's because now I'm listening to something better that describes who God is, and I'm not listening to anybody else. So he makes up his mind. The son makes up his mind, and he starts off for home. He makes the decision. He's like, all right, you know what? Maybe things weren't that bad. I want to go back to the way things were, when I was cared for, when I was comfortable, when I was loved. So he makes his way back, and he tells himself on the way back that his father would not want him back as a son. He says, my father's not going to take me back as a son, but he might take me back as a servant. Why wouldn't he? I am his son. I threw my rights away to be his son, but maybe he'll take me back and at least be a servant. Have you ever felt like that in your lives? Where you felt that God wouldn't take you back? I have. I've been to the point where it's like, God, I don't know how you can forgive me. From what I have done, how can you take me back? When sin is such a problem for you, when sin is so harmful and hurts you so much, and I sin so much, how can you take me back? I've thought that. And that right there, my church family, is the devil doing the describing again. When we think about that. When we think about, God can't take me back. How's the Father going to take me back? Do not let the devil describe you. Because in verse 19, he says it. He says, I am no longer worthy to be called your son. The devil wants us to be filthy, disgusting, alone and separated from God. That's how he wants us, and that's how he has a lot of the world. He does a good job. He is a good worker. He is faithful in his work, even though it's a wrong work, right? And that's why people don't come to church. A lot of people that I know do not come to church because they see themselves how the devil describes them. Filthy, disgusting, and full of sin. That's how the devil wants us to be, right? And a lot of people do not come to church because they're letting Satan describe them. They have a hard time believing that God will take them in. And not only that God will take them in, they have a hard time thinking that a church family will take them in. This is where the church comes in, right? Jesus is giving this parable to the church because so many people have listened to Satan describe God. That's where we come in. We need to tell them the truth. We need to let them give us the audience to be able to tell them how God really is. Our description of God. Isn't it interesting that the note or the thought of him not being, of the son not being acceptable again as his son came in after he started to think about the Father? Because before he's living his righteous living, he's living and doing what he wants. He finally comes to himself. And when he comes to himself, he starts to think about the Father. And then there is Satan waiting. Anytime that somebody tries to get close to God, anytime that somebody realizes maybe they are listening to him describe God rather than who God actually is, anytime you start to get close to that point when you're coming back, there he is again, trying to take you out, trying to keep you from coming to the Lord. How does the devil want us? Filthy, disgusting, and alone. That's how he wants us. He wants us far away from God. Christ Object Lessons in that same chapter where it talks about the lost son. In page 84, it says this. Christ Object Lessons, page 84, it says, "Do not listen to the enemy's suggestion to stay away from Christ until you have made yourself better, until you are good enough to come to God. For if you wait until then, you will never come." Again, it continues. The next sentence says this: "When Satan points to your filthy garments, repeat the promise of Jesus." And Jesus says in John 6:37, "He who cometh to me, I will in no wise cast him out." When we go to God, he's not going to say no. He is not going to reject us. He is going to accept us. So the devil told the son that the father will not take him back. But he went anyways. Yep, I heard you. I'm still going back to my dad. He might take me in as a servant. And when the son finally comes back, this wonderful scene, when the son comes back and sees the father runs to him and he runs to the father and they hug, and the father doesn't care that he is filthy and disgusting and smelling like the worst thing in the planet. He gives him a hug, he cleans him off, he puts new clothes on him and helps him be a new man and throws a party. That was the reality. The thought, after the devil describing the father again, was he won't take me back. And then soon he realizes, as soon as he makes the decision and he goes back, there's God in all his glory. He wants to make us clean. In Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1 through 5, it was part of our Bible verse today. This is a prophetic vision. So Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1 through 5 says this. Listen to these words. "Then he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to oppose him. And then the Lord said to Satan, 'The Lord rebuke you, Satan. The Lord has chosen Jerusalem, rebuke you. Is this not a brand plucked from the fire? Now verse 3 here, I love what this says here. It says, now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments and was standing before the angel. Then he answered and spoke to those who were before him, saying, take away the filthy garments from him. And to him he said, see, I have removed your iniquity from you. I will clothe you with rich robes. And I said, let them put a clean turban on his head. So they put a clean turban on his head. And then they put the clothes on him, and the angel of the Lord stood by. So this prophetic vision is of this filthy man in front of God, in the presence of God. Satan is there describing his filthiness, and God says, yep, I'm not letting you describe. I'm rebuking you, Satan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this man from this filthy being into a wonderful new man with new clothes, new everything. New turban, new sandals, new clothes. I'm going to take this filthy person and make them clean. And here we see that Satan was there. Satan is always there opposing God. He's always trying to describe us as being filthy with sin. But then Jesus comes around. When we come to him, he removes all of our filthy, dirty clothes, and he gives us new ones. Brand new clothes. I don't know what he does with the old clothes. Especially this son's clothes, right? So if today you feel, and I bet you there are some of you who are here, and maybe some, if we're talking honestly, maybe a little bit of myself still. If you feel that you are filthy still, and you are this way, you are this filthy, disgusting, and alone in front of God, we need to go back to the Father. We need to go to God. We need to go to church, and that's when we're going to get the clean clothes. I definitely did not look like this when I was in the streets. And one time though, I did get this, not one time, but several times, I did get this orange jumpsuit. And I got orange Vans without shoelaces, because they don't give you shoelaces in those places. So up until this point, we have listened to the description, the Satan's description of the Son and of the Father. But in this parable, there are two sons. We have not talked about the second son. So my question to you is, does the devil describe the older son? Let's go ahead and read it, because we didn't finish reading the whole parable. So Luke chapter 15, verses 24 through 32 says this, starting with verse 24. It says, now his older son was in the field. And he came and drew near to the house, and he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, and because he has received him safe and sound, your father has killed the fattened calf. Verse 28, but he was angry. He would not go in. Therefore the father came out and pleaded with him, and he answered and said to his father, lo, these many years I have been serving you. I have transgressed your commandment. Transgressed your commandment. I have never, I forgot one word there. I have never transgressed your commandment at any time, and yet you never gave me a young goat, that I might be merry with my friends. But as soon as this son of yours, right, not his brother, this son of yours, who has devoured your livelihood with harlots, you killed the fattened calf for him. Verse 31, and he said to him, son, you are always with me. All I have is yours. It was right that we should be merry and be glad, for your brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. Remember again, this parable was said to Jesus' followers. It wasn't to the sinners that were surrounding and also listening. It wasn't for the other Pharisees. It was for his followers. And he says to them the rest of this parable. Right? So we see that the older brother is not very happy. The older brother didn't go anywhere. He stood by. He stayed by his dad. He farmed the farm. He took care of the goats, the sheep. He did everything. He was always there working for his father. But it says here in plain text in verse 28 that he is angry. He is angry with the father. He's also angry with the brother too, right? He didn't want to see the brother again. He's angry. Just a side note here. Who gets angry when a family member comes back to God? Who gets mad with that? I can't understand that, right? Not loving one of your family members, your flesh and blood, especially a brother. So now he's upset and he's out there being upset. The father has to come out to him. He doesn't even go into the celebration party. The father has to come out to the older son. He's like, hey, what's going on here? You're not coming in? You see, the older brother, he did not share in the pain and the worrying about the other brother, about the other son. Once that other brother left, it was like he didn't have a brother. He was gone. He was no longer even in the thoughts and the cares of the older brother. He was gone. He had moved on from his own brother, from his own family. Just a quick question just for you to think about. Do we move on from people? Do we not see people for a long time and then they don't even come across our minds anymore? Have we had church members here in the church that have left and we haven't even thought about them since they've been gone? Just stuff for you to think about, right? Do we care or do we share in the concerns about the people who have left the church? Do we even care? It could be brothers, sisters, uncles. Do we share in the desire, like the Father, for them to be here, for them to be with God? The older brother sees the younger brother as when the father found him. When the father found him, he was disgusting. He smelled horrible. He hardly had any clothes on him because he couldn't even afford new clothes. He was in this horrible, sinful, filthy, disgusting state when the father found him. So now when the older brother sees that the son comes back, the only image of him that he sees is this image of his brother that was just out there doing all of this sin in the world. He doesn't see him as somebody who has humbled themselves, somebody who is alone, somebody who is filthy, somebody who is looking for love. He doesn't see any of that. All he sees is a sinner, a disgusting sinner, and he doesn't even want to have any part with it, even though it is his brother and he came back. So that is how the older brother sees his younger brother. And, you know, it is hard when you see the awfulness in others. Sometimes you can see the awfulness in yourself as well. You see, oh man, you know, when we really look at other people honestly, we do the thing that we normally do. We judge people, even though we shouldn't, right? We try not to. We try and get past that. We look at people and we kind of judge them. And we see, sometimes when we see these awful people, it reminds them of what we really are as well. Because down deep, at least for myself, I'm still a sinner. I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to get better. So sometimes when I see the awfulness in others, I can see the awfulness in myself. So this brother, the older brother, has no problem seeing his brother as just his bad self, the horrible, filthy, disgusting person. So how has the devil described the older brother? He did a very good job, and the devil is on point with this. I don't know if you heard those verses that the father is asking the older brother, why don't you come inside? And he's angry. And his response to the father was, I have always been here with you. Right? I have done all that you have ever asked. I've never broken any of your rules. I have followed everything, and you have never celebrated me. You have never killed that fatted calf for me. And now my other brother, the sinful one, comes home, and now you make a big deal about it? It's like, no, this isn't right. So this is the devil describing, right? This is the devil looking, this is the devil talking to the older brother. He's saying, hey, your brother's back. The filthy, disgusting sinner that left, he's back. Man, you know what? God, or the devil is saying to the brother, I don't think did he ever make a party for you? Has he ever made a big deal about you? Right? And that's what the devil does. He's describing himself. He's describing the older brother to the older brother. He's saying, hey, you're good. You've always been here. You follow all the rules. You tithe. You help. You do everything. And now this new person comes back, this filthy, disgusting person, and they're supposed to make a big deal about it? That is how the devil is describing the older brother. You see here, the devil does one of two things. He either puts you down or he puffs you up. Right? Isn't that right? That's what he does. He either says you're disgusting, or in this case, he's saying you're too good. Look at you. You're wonderful. You're always here. You've done all the work. You're better than everybody else. You are the one that deserves this, not this other person. So we just went over how Satan describes you. And the devil, we see here in this parable that the devil is just doing all of this describing. But is the devil or Satan ever mentioned in this parable? But is he there? He's there. All this work behind the scenes, and that's how Satan works. He works behind the scenes. He doesn't like to work out there in the open with his face and who he really is. He likes to work behind the scenes. And the older brother should have found joy and pleasure with being with his father and with his brother that came back. But he didn't. Because the whole time that he was working, his mind was resting on the profit that he was going to get for always being there, for always being at church, for always tithing. He was thinking about the gains that he was going to get for doing the Father's work. And he had left away doing sinful things so he could profit. He didn't just go out and leave and sin like the other brother. He thought, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be good. And at the end of me being good, the Father's going to give me what I deserve for being here. So he's thinking about his profit. And that's where we need to watch out. But in the end, even though the son is angry, the older son is angry, the father is still showing love and compassion to him. He's saying, son, come on. You know I've loved you. I've always loved you. Everything that I have is yours. Don't be like this. Don't listen to the devil describe you. Don't listen to the devil how he's describing me. You know that I love you. Right? The father deals tenderly with him. So a couple of questions here just for us to think about. Are we letting Satan describe our God to us? Have we realized our filthiness? And have we started to go back to God? Do we know 100% that we are children of God and that he loves all of us? Are we allowing Satan to bring us down or to puff us up? Just think about those things. Do not let the devil describe you. You know, this is one of the only parables here that doesn't have an ending. There is no ending. The parable ends with the father and the son, the older son, outside. There's a party going on in a celebration going on inside. The father comes out and he is now pleading with the older brother. In the parable, Jesus is giving this parable to his people. He is pleading with his people to go in to the celebration. So here, this is for the church. Are we going to concern ourselves over the souls who have left this church? Are we going to enter the party when our brothers and sisters come back and celebrate with them and hug them and give them clean clothes like the Father does, invite them in, do everything we can to celebrate them coming back? Are we going to open the doors to those who are filthy, disgusting, full of sin, alone, and looking for God? What are we going to do with those people when they come in? Are we going to celebrate? Or are we going to let them fend for themselves and just listen to a message if you want to? There's a lot of people that come in here. A lot of people that come in here. Sometimes we don't even know it. So what are we going to do with these people? What are we going to do? This parable has not ended, and it has not ended with the church yet. What are we going to do? For all of us individually, the message in this parable for ourselves is don't let the devil describe you. We already know we're children of God. Let God describe us. Let us come close to him. Let us not go away. Let us stay with him. So there's a message for each of us individually, but there's also a message for us as a whole, as a church. Right? And we just went over what that message is. There is so much love in the Father. We need to go to him. He's the only one that is going to make us clean. So we have some decisions to make. It is up to us whether we make those decisions or not. So, closing with this, don't let the devil describe you. And then, church, what do we want to do? God bless each and every one of you.